I am back, ladies and gentlemen, because obviously, the way all of you see it is, if someone leaves for one video, that means they disappeared and they went away. So I'm glad I'm back from being away. Here I am to run down your WWE Payback 2016 match card. And what a match card it is, ladies and gentlemen. This match card is really going to put asses in seats. This is the first pay-per-view of the new era. And what an era it is. Let's look at the match card really quick. Let me run this down. Kalisto versus Ryback in a WrestleMania rematch. The build for this match has been absolutely awe-inspiring, incredible. You know, the way that they're so heavily featured on Raw. It's like, I feel like everything's riding on this match. Like, I literally feel like if Ryback does not walk out United States champion, that I will lose the deed to my house. That's how invested I am into this match and into this pay-per-view. The next match, Charlotte Flair versus Natalya, with Bret Hart and Ric Flair in their corners for the Women's Championship. The first ever match where the Women's Championship will be defended. And I swear, you know what? If there's one thing that I'm glad that this new era is bringing upon us, it's originality. It's fresh matches that I've never seen before. Like this one, for instance, like Ric Flair in Charlotte's corner and Bret Hart in Natalya's corner in this be-all, end-all championship match. And again, just like the last one, so much emphasis is put on this championship match that I really feel like the women's revolution is really taking over. It's definitely not like the Divas championship where every feud was just random tag team matches where the challenger looked like they could beat the champion and then the champion ends up victorious. It does not feel like that whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I really feel like, you know what, if there's absolutely anything that I think was bad about this feud, it is when Ric Flair told Natalya to kill herself on SmackDown, because I believe that was a little bit too far, and I think that took things to a whole nother level. That was just completely disrespectful, but you know what, fuck PG. The Miz versus Cesaro for the Intercontinental Championship. Let me tell you guys something. I fucking hate The Miz. I cannot stand The Miz with every fiber of my being because of what he did to Zack Ryder. And you know what? When I really looked at it, now that Maryse returned, I never noticed how unhot she was. You know, I don't think she's nearly as beautiful or attractive as the two divas disputing for the women's champion. I'm sorry, the two superstars disputing for the women. You know, I love women's wrestling. I've been an advocate for it ever since 2011 when Kelly Kelly was champion. I was definitely hoping, saying that I wanted longer Kelly Kelly matches back then, and now that it's getting so popular, I'm really happy that all my hard work is panned out. And but again, I think Maryse is just like, I don't know, ever since she came back, I just don't think she's nearly as attractive as I once thought she was. I definitely think that the two superstars that are the two women that are disputing for the championship are far more attractive than Maryse. And you know, it feels really good to say women, to put emphasis on women instead of having to say diva. Because that's obviously what held the division back all those years, was saying the word diva and having the butterfly belt. That is the only thing that held the divas back, the women back all those years. So speaking of personal rivalries that has blood boiling and people just can't wait to see the final conclusion of, Dolph Ziggler takes on Baron Corbin in a feud that goes all the way back to 3 weeks ago. Baron Corbin is the man in the WWE, and if they're gonna push anybody to the moon, I think it should be Baron Corbin. You know, there's guys that have been called up like Apollo Crews, but I don't think he has the mic skills. You know, he's a great wrestler, but I just don't think he has the mic skills to make it in the WWE. But then I look at someone like Baron Corbin, who's just this incredible manipulator on the stick that I'm just surprised that he's not the champion yet. The only people I think on the active roster right now that can compare to the mic skills of Baron Corbin is maybe someone like Cesaro or AJ Styles, which, by the way, I'm definitely digging Cesaro's new gimmick. It is incredible, but more on that in a little bit. Alright, up next, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. And you know what? It's a good thing that I watched NXT and ROH and all their indie stuff. And but even if I didn't watch it, it's not like I would be missing anything. I mean, this feud, this rivalry, this match has so much writing on it just on their Raw build alone. I mean, I think about all the crap that they went through on Raw. Who could ever forget that great time that Sami Zayn attacked Kevin Owens? And who could forget that other great time on SmackDown when Kevin Owens attacked Sami Zayn and they just punched each other over and over and they had like a high school fight. I mean, that's what I love in my wrestling matches. You know, matches like Sami Zayn and Nakamura having high school fights. Those are just the 5-star classics that I want to see every single week on Raw and SmackDown. I'm surprised that Sami Zayn hasn't set Kevin Owens on fire yet. That is the only thing that's missing from this rivalry on the main roster. You know, I see a lot of people complaining that, well, actually no one's complaining about this feud. I think the only people that are complaining are stupid sports entertainment marks that say that, oh, they only built this in the indie scene. Well, everyone watches the indie scene. Anyone who doesn't watch the indie scene is a fucking idiot and shouldn't be watching and isn't a real wrestling fan. And if you didn't watch their indie stuff, because I mean 100% of their audience are smart fans, not smart fans that watch the indies. Just saying. So if you don't watch the indies, you are an idiot. You're not smart. You never will be smart. And the only intelligence that you will ever see is Damian Sandow, who deserves a monster push to the main event tomorrow night. Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy versus the Vaudevillains in the tag team match to determine the number 1 contenders for the tag team titles after the Booty-O's tournament. And you know what? I'm super happy that they're pushing these two NXT teams to the moon. You know, again, just like with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, even if you didn't watch NXT, you should be all too familiar with these two teams just because of all the incredible stuff that they've done since coming up on the main roster. I mean, it's not like if you missed the last month of Raw and SmackDown that you wouldn't have any idea who these guys are. I mean, these guys are incredible guys. I think they're mainstream household names that anyone would put in association with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You know, one thing that I think is just really stupid is when I talk to someone about the greatest actors and or entertainers of all time, they'll mention someone like Robert De Niro, like Leonardo DiCaprio, and I mention someone like Aiden English, and they'll be like, who's that? And I'll just be like, you are really not a smart fan of entertainment, let me tell you, because of everything that these two teams have done since being called up. Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. What a rivalry. Like, I'd like to think that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have this rich history and illustrious rivalry that was built over all these years. But it really does not hold a candle to what Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho, the very foundation of this feud. And you know what? Dean Ambrose, the Ambrose Asylum is just an incredible show, you know. I personally would love a set like that. In fact, those are my apartment goals. I want my apartment to look exactly like what the Ambrose Asylum set looks like right now at this very moment, you know. And even then, I mean, even if you're not interested in the feud, you just want the matches. Look at the great matches that they've had. This has been one of the focal feuds in the WWE, and I personally could not be any more happy with the build for this feud. Roman Reigns, boo, versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Let me just say this right now. As good as the last 4 Raws have been, as great, as incredible as the last 4 Raws have been, and they really have been second to none since the PG era started, in my opinion. In fact, I think these might be the 4 greatest Raws of all time. You can't help but notice that the ratings have been plummeting since then. And I think it's pretty fucking obvious who the problem is, and the only reason that the ratings are getting so low. And that's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. He is clearly the only reason that people are tuning out. I mean, look at how he's being shoved down our throats ever since he won the belt with his stupid, I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm just the guy. You know, those hour-long promos that he cuts that are just terrible. You know, he sounds like a real goof on the mic. And I feel really happy when AJ Styles is on the mic against him, because AJ Styles shuts him up, because Roman Reigns sounds like a real goof. You know, what kind of a dumbass says the same thing every single week in a promo? I mean, what kind of an idiot clings on to one phrase and says it every time they cut a promo? That's just really stupid and really ridiculous. How you doing? And you know what? If there's one problem I have with Roman Reigns, it's not just that he's the worst wrestler that I've ever seen wrestle in my entire life. It's the fact that he has no character and he has no mic skills whatsoever, you know? And I really hope someone that's great and has excellent mic skills beats him. Someone that's a great wrestler like AJ Styles. Or someone who has great character and great mic skills like, let me see, who are guys that I want to be champion? Sami Zayn or Cesaro, you know? I think those guys are so incredible on the microphone. So you know what? Fuck Roman Reigns. And you know what? I hope the Bullet Club, who, by the way, the Bullet Club, in case you're not familiar with it, I'm glad, I'm really happy that Michael Cole mentions Japan, even though I'm almost certain that every fan that watches the WWE has watched Japan before and is all too familiar with the Bullet Club. I'm really happy that they're giving you this insight to who the Bullet Club is, because these guys are the greatest faction ever. And you know what? I'm taking everyone into account when I think about that. I think about the Shield. I think about DX. I think about Evolution. I think about the NWO. But I just don't think that they're better than the Bullet Club. And if the best thing that could ever happen to the WWE is AJ Styles winning the championship, Finn Balor coming out, forming the Bullet Club, turning on AJ Styles, setting up Finn Balor versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam for the World Championship, and Roman Reigns getting fired in the process by Shane McMahon, who ends up running Monday Night Raw for the rest of eternity until he dies. So obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I am all too excited for WWE Payback 2016 and everything that the WWE is going to do from here on out. I cannot wait for Nakamura to be called up so we can see more high school fights for matches, because those are 5-star classics, ladies and gentlemen. And I personally cannot wait to see everything that transpires in the next couple of months.